It's my pleasure to introduce the valedictorian for 2012. This young man has made his presence known to staff and students through both his personality and his big smile. In his graduating year, he has been center stage, both in his role as co-president of the student government and his dramatic roles. The role of valedictorian is a true honor, as the role is achieved through the acknowledgement of his peers. Ladies and gentlemen, your valedictorian for 2012, Troy Aharonian.
I would first like to thank Ms. Laudman for that very nice introduction, and I'd also like to thank my fellow peers for nominating me as valedictorian. It means a lot to me. Thank you. So, good afternoon, parents, friends, teachers, and honorable guests, and of course, the graduating class of 2012. It was exactly 3 years, 9 months, 2 weeks, and 5 days since the day our 14-year-old selves walked into Port Credit Secondary School. Even though we might not have known each other back then, we all walked in together. We all walked in as innocent, small, and perhaps naive grade 9s, eager to explore our new sandbox. This new high school sandbox felt slightly different than the previous one. The sandbox was larger, with more people and more toys inside of it. After 4 years of exploring this sandbox, the novelty has worn off, and I can confidently say that we as a class have outgrown it. I don't mean physically, because really, our bodies have not really changed. Okay, we're a little taller, our voices have deepened, and all the boys, except for myself of course, can grow facial hair. But when I say outgrown, I mean more than simple physical changes. I mean intellectually. I mean how we've grown and matured over the past 4 years. Which leads me to a question. What have we learned during our time here at PCSS? We may have learned that in the age of phones and Facebook, the skill of studying can be very hard to master. We may have learned that pulling all-nighters to study for tests don't really work. We may have learned that every day you skip, the school calls your house that same day at exactly 5:31. There we go. We may have learned that textbook questions are very long and tedious. Thank you, teachers, for that one. We have definitely learned that the social science department loves the Schliefflin plan and feels the need to remind you its definition and significance on every single test. There we go. Now, these tidbits of knowledge may come very handy in the future. However, I've learned a more meaningful lesson in the past few years. I think that this valuable lesson has matured me beyond anything ever taught in the classroom. It was actually my parents who had taught me this lesson in early grade 10, but I think I've only recently mastered it. In October of grade 10, I had told my parents that I was going to a party. My father had come upstairs and said, "Troy, I can't tell you what to do because we're probably going to do the opposite, but I can ask you to choose wisely." At the time, I did not really know what choose wisely meant, so I blew him off. However, in January of grade 10, this changed. I jumped off a roof and broke my hip. Now, this choice was a ridiculously unwise one, and I've regretted it ever since. But this is when I began to truly understand what choose wisely means. The way an individual learns how to choose wisely is through experience, and you develop experience through good and bad choices alike. Thanks to my unwise roof choice, I can guarantee you that I will stay away from tall roofs for the rest of my life. How to choose wisely was not the only thing I learned from my hip experience. I first learned that breaking a hip is not fun, and I hope none of you have to go through it. But I also got to learn this grade's true character. I think that the one word that could describe this grade as a whole is respect. We have respect for each other. We have respect for our teachers, our parents, and ourselves. And I'm not the only one who believes this. Many teachers have agreed that there is a great amount of pride, dignity, and respect within our grade. The reason I had begun to see this with my broken hip was because I was visibly different in a wheelchair. Yet, I felt no sense of inequality or judgment. All I got was respect and kindness from my fellow peers. The roof and hip story is just a specific example about choosing wisely. But let's look at the broader picture, because high school, along with everything else in life, is really about choices. We chose to come to Port Credit. We chose to wing our English culminating. We chose to start our English culminating months before. We chose to waste hours of valuable study time on Facebook. We chose to join a clever team that went on to ROPSA. We chose to break a Guinness World Record. My point is that since we have all made these sorts of wise and unwise choices before, we should learn from them. We should learn to choose wisely in the future based on our past choices. And speaking of the future, this leads me to another question. Where are we going next? Whether you're going to university, college, or the workforce, we are all leaving the sandbox. We are moving on to a new reality, a new environment. This new environment could be seen as a playground where the big kids play. The playground gives us more freedom, more independence, and more room to explore. So wherever your playground is, I want all of you to take what you've learned here at PC in order to choose wisely in the future. Now, on behalf of the class of 2012, I would like to thank our friends, the administration, our parents, and our teachers for caring so much about our education and our well-being. I would now like to congratulate the class of 2012 for officially graduating high school. We made it, guys. Congratulations. And remember, choose wisely. Thank you.